We had export inspection numbers out this morning at 10 o'clock Central Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Let's recap where those numbers came in at as the trade watches these and then also watches what's going on with the crop tour and what could be possibly in that crop condition rating later on this afternoon. That'll be released at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. First of all, the export inspection numbers. We'll start here in the corn first. 1.09 million metric ton, and that was a little bit below last week's 1.26. Sorghum came in much above this week over last week, 76,306 compared to last week's 672, so a big jump there. Soybeans, they were a little bit higher this time around as well. In fact, they came in quite a bit higher on the export inspection numbers, and as the wheat was just slightly lower. On the soybean market right now, we've got the September at 4 3/4 at 8.86 1/4, November at 4 3/4 at 8.97 1/2, and you go all the way out to May of next year. We got the soybeans up 5 cents at 9.31. Let's go back to see what's going on in the corn market. This is a market that was about 3 cents lower for a good portion of the day, and right there's where we're at. September corn down 3 at 361 1/2. December down 2 3/4 at 376. The wheat market also on the lower side here as well. September Chicago wheat down 15 cents at 545 1/2. July down 8 1/4 at 588 1/2. The Kansas City wheat contract for September down 12 1/2 at 552 1/2. July down 9 1/4 at 607 3/4. Minneapolis wheat for September down 13 3/4, 594 3/4. July down 11 1/2 at 639. And for the cotton market, December up 85 at 82.24. Scott Gecas, long leaf trading at the edge of the trading floor at the CME Group in Chicago. Scott, good day to you. What's the latest that you're hearing there on the floor today about this grain market?
Yeah, the grain market in particular, it's very slow. There's very little volume. There's a lot of waiting and seeing what's going to happen. Between the NAFTA talks that are expected to come out midweek, Chinese trade war talks that are coming out, as well as the crop tour news coming out too. So there's a lot of things that all the traders here are waiting to see. One thing I want to keep in mind that for whatever reason, I do not see a lot of people talking about the possibility of China war or the trade war talks with China. They're still committed to buying Iranian oil. That's going to be a very big deterrent with the trade war talks with the U.S. going forward. If they continue to buy Iranian oil, they're going to get hit with more sanctions. If they get hit with more sanctions, you know, the trade war talks are just going to dissipate and they're not going to mean anything. So that's what we're going to be focusing on now. You know, with the soybean market in particular, it's setting up for a bearish storm. You have these heavy rains are coming in. Massive supply concerns. So we're going to wait and see how any of this news is going to shape up. But right now, on the technical level, we're going to be bearish below 900.
All right, Scott, while we're talking about oil, let's see where the crude oil market is trading at right now here. Today, we've got things mostly on the higher side. September crude up 40 cents at 66.32, just with a change right there. October up 21 at 65.42. Great insight, Scott. When we come back, we'll talk about the livestock trade. So stay with us right here on the Market Day Report. Well, we had a little bit of a reversal in the cattle market since the opening this morning. Let's go to the live cattle market. That front month of August is now up 3 at 109.45. Earlier, that was the only loan contract that was lower. Now, it's October is the only loan contract that is lower. 110.75, down 12. December is at 114.78. That's up 16. And February up 13 at 118.15. The feeder cattle market, this is where August is the standalone, down 57. But September, the next front month, is up 9 at 151.92. October up 15, 152. We've even got November trading at the exact same there, 152. That's up 35. Hog market today is weaker, with October down $2 at 56.60. December hogs down 80 at 54.48, and February down 93 at 60.72. The Scott Gecas is standing by there at the edge of the trading floor in Chicago, and he rejoins us now to talk about these markets. So can you kind of give us an idea of how active it is over here in the protein complex today?
Yeah, the protein complex just across the board, it's pretty slow just in general. We're still waiting for the Pro Farmer report coming out, see if there's going to be any news coming out one way or the other. Demand has been strong for cattle just across the board. Seasonal demand is a lot higher than everyone expected. You know, with the Labor Day coming in, the Labor Day weather is supposed to be better than in the past few years. So the Labor Day demand is expected to be a little bit higher. That could be driving cattle prices a little bit higher. At the very least, it's stabilizing the markets alone.
It was interesting that cattle market did start out with a little bit of weakness today and firmed here. Some are calling last week's cash cattle trade, quote, and I'm quoting what some people have said, a little bit disappointing, end quote. Is that what you've heard?
Yeah, I mean, the cash cattle trading, you know, like I said, last week, we traded anywhere between 112 to all the way down to 19, back and forth all week. So, yeah, that's a little bit disappointing. That is putting a little bit of pressure on it. But with the expected demand going into Labor Day weekend being stronger than expected, especially with the weather being better than expected, rather than years in the past where it's always raining, that's definitely going to be either stabilizing the markets or increasing demand a little bit and watch them move a little bit higher.
One of the competing proteins, of course, is pork, of course. Today is National Bacon Lovers Day, but what about the pork complex? What are you hearing so far?
Yeah, the pork complex in general has an odd dynamic because the trade war talks with China, if they keep buying Iranian oil, like I said, sanctions there are going to be a determining factor with the trade war talks. However, you have the disease in China just ramping all the way across the whole pork complex. They keep having to slaughter different pigs. They're running into very big supply concerns. If they can't get this disease under control, which it doesn't look like they're going to anytime soon, we've seen a third report of that disease. They're going to have to buy U.S. pork. I mean, it's not a matter of want to, it's a matter of need. They're going to have to do it. That's why in the last few days I've been talking very bullishly on the pork complex. But weather going into Labor Day, I also have the NAFTA talks coming out later this week. I mean, expect a little bit of push to the upside for hogs.
Okay, Scott Gecas, Longleaf Trading, here with us. Scott, thank you very much. We appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Scott Gecas there at the edge of the trading floor with the latest information on that.
Yeah, but you said the word bacon, and I couldn't go any further, so...